Two Babies in a Business, the podcast where we talk about what it is to be a business owner and that balance between partnership, clients, life, and all of the things. I am usually joined by Peter Pilarski, but today I have the lovely Heather Draper, who is multitasking, which I love. I love that.
Yeah.
Heather is, the woman behind the Heather Company. Heather, why don't you, I know you don't like this question, but what is the Heather Company? Tell us.
Okay, so the Heather Company is an interior design firm that is a one-woman show now. I used to have like a team of, I don't know, like probably 5 at the biggest and a storefront and all the things, but I recently scaled back to just being me, and I specialize in luxury home furnishing design. So I go into painfully gorgeous houses and provide exceptional furnishings to those homes.
I feel like following you is terrible for me because I just fall in love with everything. I feel like I like every single one of your stories.
Oh, that's
and I'm always like, we need a new rug. Like, I want this new Peter, we need a new rug here.
I'm currently standing in front of my cabinet of rugs, so
I know.
yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, I don't like. I mean, I love it. It's just, it's hard when, working in the market that I work in I don't want it ever to feel hoity-toity.
Yeah.
I'm not a hoity-toity girl. I just really like beautiful things, and unfortunately my poor clients got stuck with me.
I love that though. Like, it's not bad to be known for liking beautiful things.
Right?
Our worst things.
Yeah.
All right. So the topic I have pulled for us today, which I think is very relevant, is content creation. Because especially now that you are a one-woman show, you have a big following online. You have I think you too.
But I'm not disappointed either.
Good. This balance of, and I mean, you and I feel like run very parallel lives. We've got busy kids. We have, we're involved in our own extracurricular volunteer stuff. We have this business we're running, and now all of a sudden we have to maintain this like online brand as well.
Yeah.
What at a high level, what are your thoughts about, Heather's online brand?
Okay, well, it took me freaking years to actually like wrap my head around the value of making that a priority in my days. I have a dear friend who is a home builder who I furnish pretty much every house they build. And she was the one that showed me sort of the power of it. She was very committed to it. And she's like, all of their business comes from Instagram. And so I was like, I need to prioritize this. And I mean, I got an email in my inbox, I joke you not, from somebody who wants to hire me for a house in the Dominican. I have a project in Augusta. I've just wrapped up a project in Pennsylvania. I have projects here in Calgary, of course. But so, the proof, it was so obviously proven to me the power of committing to my social media. Because when you have people calling you from places in the world you've never been and investing in you with having never met you, but they know me because they see me on Instagram, then, I mean, how can you not say to yourself, like, yeah, this is worth 25 minutes a day? I mean, it's not even that. It's like literally 5 minutes a day.
It's true. I feel like once you find that rhythm and once you, okay, this is a moment in time where I need to capture this or not, once you get comfortable just doing it, I feel like it becomes not a thing.
I was just going to say, like, at first it feels weird when you're like talking into the phone feels weird. I feel like at first just like sharing the things that you're doing, you're like, does anybody really care about me or what I'm saying or blah, blah, blah. Or like, am I sharing too much? Am I sharing too little? Like blah, blah, blah. But I think at some point, I used to do TV like way back in the day, way back when I had far smoother skin. And I remember the first time I went on TV, I was all nervous. And then I remembered that I'm just talking about the thing that I'm passionate about. That's all I'm doing here today.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just, I leaned into that same thing with Instagram. And I was like, I'm just talking about what I'm passionate about. And the people who like my passion for the thing that I'm talking about will be interested. And you know what? All the people who are going like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I would never pick that color. Like those people won't follow me, which is great because they'll never call me to be my client, which is
Yeah.
great because they're already not my client.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's
But
true.
like,
I
going off
feel that for
that,
sure. Yeah.
you're
Yeah. And
so
I think it's, go ahead.
you're so good. Like your stuff is so authentic too. It's so like I feel like I know who you are and I know about your family, but not in a way that feels like too intimate.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's the interesting thing about you too, because it's like, you have a family too. So every so often, Fiona will pop up, right?
Down in there.
And
Yeah.
do her thing, become a little star of her own. But there is this balance between, okay, I know people are following me because they know I am a CEO of a marketing and communications company. So I know they want a little bit of that. They're interested in what I have to say there. But I know they're also following me for this aspect of, okay, work-life balance and how are you fitting it in and what are you up to? And oh, okay, you can do this craft and it can look horrendous, but everyone still had fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's also sort of like, as you say, like the humanity of it. Like, when we were talking about Instagrammers before this not Instagrammers, influencers before this started, like, I think when there's people like us who are being like, yeah, I can do all these things and I could be a super boss, but also I have all of these layers of my life and maybe they're not always perfect. I mean, I think we all, the reality of the humanity of just life is nice to embrace sometimes.
It's true. I like that your point though around like you follow an influencer because you saw something and then all of a sudden you feel like, oh my God, all they're doing is selling to me.
Yeah. It's
Like
just a
how do
commercial.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, like how do you create that balance? Because you obviously have, sales goals at the end of the day and quotas to meet and a business to run. But so like what does that look like for you?
Well, for me, I think the difference is that, I'm not like, it's not like I'm like, Mama living life. Like, that's not, I'm not it's pretending that I'm a person, but then I'm actually like a commercial.
Yeah.
I'm very much like when you come to the Heather company, I am an interior designer. I have a design firm. This is the work that I do. This is what you're going to find here. I'm also a human being, but if you're here to digest my content is about my design firm where I make money selling furniture to people. So it's almost like that the expectation is set the minute that they land on my Instagram page. And then if it's just me like going to a really cute cafe and like having to talk about those barrettes that I brought to you, I put those on Instagram
Yes.
all the time. If I'm talking about delicious pastries, like that's just the bonus because I'm obsessed with food.
Yeah.
But what you're here for is to see what I'm selling to my clients, essentially,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No, I really like that. And I like the personality infusion. So there's a few contracts that we've won and you come to this point in a contract negotiation where you go, okay, like let's have another conversation. Let's get to know each other. Let's make sure you're comfortable. And there have been these perfect moments where it's like, oh no, like I follow you guys online. I know
Yeah.
what you're about. I already know who you are as people, at least at that surface level.
Mhm.
And, our values seem to align. No, I like what I see. I'm comfortable signing right away. And those are the moments for me too. It's like, okay, I feel like I'm not just putting out Christina, the marketing person, but like Christina, the person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is like that right there in a nutshell is exactly what, like, it's one thing to be like, oh, they can see my style and whatever and blah, blah, blah. But when they've already committed to me because they already feel like I'm one of their friends. Because
Yeah.
same thing, I walked into an office for like my second like meeting or whatever. And she was like, just so you know, no, I walked in, she's like, oh my God, Heather, I fangirl you on Instagram. And I'm like, you got to not do that because that's just not a thing.
I love
And then she's like, so, and we just want you to know that you already have the job. And I was like, it took the weight off of the presentation
Yeah.
because I would be like, okay, great. Like, let's get into the nitty gritty because I have something to deliver here and I want to do it great. So let's get past this part where I have to sell you and let's get to the part where I'm going to create where I get the tools from you that I need to create something amazing for you. But also just, she'd already trusted me because she felt like she knew me already, which is, for me, being responsible for such an intimate part of someone's life. It's so valuable that they already trust me because they feel like they know me.
Yeah, that's huge. I think that's a huge factor. We always talk about at CIPR, like the trust, right? Like that as we enter a relationship with you, we're built like our MO is building trust because that drives results. Now we're comfortable with each other. But I agree, like there is this magic when you're putting yourself out there,
Yeah.
people go, okay, this is the person. Like,
Yeah. And I think to that point, when you're creating content, I think it's really easy when you're nervous at the beginning to kind of put on a bit of a show rather than just like settling into yourself and being like, no, I'm going to talk to you Instagram screen, little green light, talk to the little green light. Don't look at yourself.
yeah,
And then little green light, I'm going to talk to you like I talk to my best friend. Because like, I know too many years in the construction industry, like I'll drop an F-bomb. There'll be one in this podcast, BT dubs. But, like I don't want to I will be that person in person. So you need to be that person on the screen.
yeah.
You need to always be who you are.
Do you ever, so my biggest advice to people is always like, don't watch it back, just like post. So like, what do you
Oh,
do? Do you
I
pause and
always,
like,
I always watch it back but I've got different things. Like I have, like sometimes there's things around behind me that
yeah,
I need to make sure don't get seen. So whether it's like a lot of times when I'm showing, like if I'm posting drawings or like presentation boards or something, the client's name has to be hidden, right?
yeah,
And we can't show
yeah,
too much of a drawing, like those floor plans. The floor plans that I work with cost like 50 grand. So I can't
yeah,
show like the entire floor plan. I can show like
yeah,
a snippet of a corner of a house. So I watch them back for that more than sometimes I watch it back to make sure that what I said made sense because it doesn't bug me. But like I think it's that having done TV for years before
yeah,
in like life, I'm kind of used to like seeing myself on camera. It doesn't bug me.
yeah. What advice would you give for someone, business owner, whoever it is, that's like, I've never done an Instagram story before. I don't know how to start. What would you say to them?
Well, okay, this is the thing that I struggled with because I'm like, first of all, I used to be like, I'm too busy being an interior designer to talk about it on Instagram. Then I was like, I don't know what to say, right? You don't know what to talk
Yeah.
about. What do I talk about? And then, so I was talking to like a designer, a couple, like she's starting up, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and I said to her that when you get nervous or afraid, you have to lean into your passion.
Right.
So when you started whatever it is that you do, whether you're a dentist or you own a restaurant or I don't know, have a job that people have in offices where they do office work that I'm sure is important and has stuff involved that I know nothing about because I don't understand real work. Something about what you did lit your fire.
Right.
Maybe your fire is only simmering right now because real work life, but how great is it to just be like, I'm just going to take 2 minutes of my day and I'm going to remember the fire and I'm going to talk about the fire. So for me, I don't talk about the pain of like a wood table that took a year to get that's now splitting on the corners in Pennsylvania. But I am going to be like, okay, but what I loved was when I put that table into that room with that sofa and the fabric and the way that the textures all marry.
Right.
And so the things that you're excited about, talk about them. Excitement sells.
Yeah. Well, you follow me. So, I ebb and flow. I feel like there's times in my life or my whatever where I'm very posty, right? Like I'll have a lot of stories a day. I'm great at articulating, here's what's happening, here's the next thing, here's the this or the that. And then there are times where it's, a little bit shorter, a little bit just here's glimpses, but I almost feel like, and maybe it's subconscious, it's like those times where I'm heavily posting. It's like maybe I'm looking for that passion or that like reinvigorate,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I, I wonder if it's that because it's like right now, I feel like I'm posting a little bit less, but I'm really excited about some things that are happening. I'm doing lots of visioning, I'm doing lots of planning, and it's like, okay, I don't necessarily even need to articulate those things to myself right now, but I know in, February when I'm in the thick of client work, I'm probably going to need some things to be excited about again, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do think that I think that this idea of like, I know that like everything you listen to is like consistency, consistency. And I'm like, you know what? Um, sorry, I have somebody at my door.
It's the real life.
Um, I think that just give yourself the grace to be like, I post when I post,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I was talking to a friend in the industry, but she does business coaching. And so I was talking to her and she was saying, so she had done a test run because I was trying to post every single day. And she had done like a test run and she actually found that not posting every day was better. Like
Yeah.
2 and then off 1 and then 3 and then off 1 was actually better than every day. So
Yeah.
whatever.
I, I yeah. I always say too, like, do the golden rule of if you don't have anything to say, don't say anything at all. Right? Like, we all learned that as a kid. And it's like, there are days where I have nothing to say. And if I'm just forcing it, it obviously isn't going to be valuable content. But there are days where it's like, I have lots to say. I'm at a conference or I'm doing a thing or something great
Yeah.
happened. And it's like, okay, these are the moments I need to share. And I feel like if your followers allow you some grace when you get really hyper content dumpy,
Yeah.
if you're not already doing that just for the sake of doing
Yeah.
it.
And then I think it's super exciting. Like when I was in Atlanta and I was super content dumping, everybody was excited because they
Yeah.
know when I'm doing that, something super exciting is happening. And then
Yeah.
when it's like a few stories here and there, they're like, oh, she's just working. And then what happens, what I find is that when they can see that there's all those little dashes on my screen, they're like more invested because they know if Heather's got a lot of dashes, she's doing something big is happening for her today. Like I'm doing an install or
Yeah.
buying
No,
furniture.
I feel like even your Atlanta trip, because I followed it, but I like obviously invested in seeing all the beautiful things that you were showing off, but I became invested in your bang situation too. Right? Like it's just that like
Yeah, so I
personality.
just
And
I'm
it's
hiding them behind sunglasses today. The
but
haircut
it's not
today.
like bangs. It's like the content I need. I can appreciate a really bad bang day and I can appreciate like the natural flow of like, wow, my bangs just worked in this weather. So like, right? Like you
I
never
think it's
know.
like, and I think this is the thing, right? Like these are the moments of humanity where you just have to be like, yeah, I'm looking at really beautiful furniture, but I'm also a human,
Right.
you know? And it's relatable, like, because see, you totally related. You're like, I got bangs. And it's like, and then it kind of takes the weird self-consciousness of like, I don't look good enough today. My bangs aren't working, so I can't post. No, you can post, make fun of your bangs, and carry on. Like,
Yeah.
we all get it. We all have bang problems or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, whatever's not working for you that day. You're like, we're all
I love
there.
that. I'm titling this podcast, We All Have Bang Problems.
We all have bang problems, people.
But it's true. Like, I really do. Like, I love your advice too of like, you're just talking to your best friend. Cause you know what? Like, if you came over to the house and my hair was crazy and my bangs were up in the air, I'd say, hey, I have bang problems. And you would just go, yeah, I can tell. And we'd go about our business.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like, I think that we can all just take a little bit of pressure off ourselves.
Yeah, it's
What I would
true.
say. Yeah, yeah, that's what I would say. And I think that's what, like, bringing it back to work life balance. Like, I think that's what I would say too. Is like we can all just take a little pressure off ourselves. So I saw this, I don't know, you know how you go like the search and then it feeds you things. So it fed me some rando, I don't know. Anyways, and she was talking about how she cleans like one area of her room a day or her house a day.
Okay.
And I was like, what is your time worth? Because I think that when it comes to work-life balance, I think you have to acknowledge that you do not need to do it all yourself.
No.
No, I have a lovely lady, that's who is at my door. She's just gonna make my house gorgeous today.
Yeah.
There's value in that. And I think that there's no, I mean, I have no shame in saying, you know what, someone else makes every room in my house clean.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think we can feel, there's all kinds of emotions you can feel about that some people could maybe feel about having someone take care of their house in that way. But it doesn't make me less of a mom. It doesn't make me less of a wife. It doesn't make me hoity-toity. It doesn't make me any of the things. It makes me a better mom because now I'm playing with Fiona, not cleaning a toilet. It makes me a
Yeah.
better wife because now I'm making a delicious dinner, not putting away dishes.
Yeah.
And it makes me a better business owner because I'm not aggravated by the fact that I need to finish my workday so that I can do a load of laundry. And the fact of the matter is that an hour of my time is better spent.
It's true. I mean, that's the thing. It's funny because when we were on this call, same thing. Shirley, who I love to pieces, is here to help me do the exact same thing because now I get to have a great conversation. And this is my priority right now. And then getting back to work and doing the thing. And I always talk about like, how much are you worth per hour?
Yep. Yeah.
And what is your time worth? And what is your time worth as a mom? And like, that's a super high per hour, like give yourself a $500 an hour I'm a mom charge and a
Yes.
whatever it is wife charge because we don't
Totally.
we don't take that into account. And then all of a sudden it's like you're doing all the things because you think you need to, and it's where do you want to balance your life, and what's that worth?
And like keep the parts that bring you joy. Like I cook. I love to cook.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me happier than standing in my kitchen. So we rarely eat out. We rarely order in because I take things off of my plate that let me do the parts of being a wife and a mom that bring me
Yeah,
joy. And then the parts that don't bring me joy, I'm just like, you know what? Just like any other employee, it's easy enough to fill that role.
totally. Yeah. Yeah. Delegation. So I feel like that's my like on the content side too. It's like I hate a grid, hate creating a grid, hate that like whatever, like I'm not a graphic designer, I'm not a whatever. So it's like that's Emily, who is amazing on my team, knows what that grid looks like. Stories, hey, I'm here for it. I'll post, I'll talk, I'll do whatever you need. But like I delegate that piece because it's like that's where I overthink. That's where I like am like, I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah. See?
Do
And
it.
that's
I trust you.
I think that's what it is. I think it's letting go of the things that you aren't passionate about and that don't bring you joy to the exclusion of reviewing your year-end financials, obviously. I mean, some stuff you need to actually do. You got to make sure the bills are paid.
It's
But
true.
certainly, I mean, I don't unpack the furniture when it gets to Calgary to make sure that it's perfect. I pay lovely people in a wonderful warehouse to take care of that for me.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of stuff where it's just like, I don't know. It's so hard though to come to it's fascinating how making that mental shift of time is equal to money. That
Yeah.
I think is a fundamental shift that you just need to be able to make to then let go of all of this other stuff. And I
Yeah.
think, as you say it, like, how much is an hour spent having fun with my children worth to me? And then, okay, great. Let's work back from that math. So everything that I do before I do that has to be worth more than that.
Yeah.
If it's worth less than that, then I need to find someone to do it for me.
Yeah. I love that.
And then, and giving yourself the, because, oh my God, like the judgment. Because I've we've all had judgment over the years, right? From all the people. The mother-in-law, she's wrapped her head around it now, but it only took 20 years. But I think also, it's the same thing that I say for clients when they're like, I don't know about that wallpaper or whatever. And I'm like, listen, I don't care what your frenemy and your mother-in-law think about this wallpaper. I care about what
Yeah.
you think.
Yeah.
And I think like with anything in life, like I don't care what my frenemies and my mother-in-law think about the things that I do. So
It's
if
true.
like if you think that there's something wrong with having somebody clean my house, or I don't know, whatever the other things you think I'm doing wrong by your standard is, I
Yeah.
don't care.
No, I agree. I feel like for me, that's like the 5 a.m. I'm at the gym post, which I often do. And I have people that are like, "Oh, God, why do you have?" And it's like, I don't care what you think, but like there is accountability in this for me that you didn't realize, right?
Yeah.
Like I know someone, if I don't post for an extended period of time, do you still get up and work out in the morning? Like if I don't post about a workout in a good 2 or 3 weeks, I
Really?
will no doubt have someone say to me, "Do you still do that?" So now that to me, there's this like built-in accountability with my followers that it's like, okay, I gotta be there for myself, obviously first, but like also it's like, okay, there's now built-in accountability and you know, whoever who doesn't, like to see me sweaty doesn't need to because
Yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
for
carry
them.
on with your day. You could just flip that story away. Just go to the next one.
Exactly. That's true. All right. Well, thank you, Heather, for talking all the things with me.
You bet. It was fun. It was fun. I can't wait till the next Pilarski Draper hangout.
Yes, ASAP, because I need you to. I'm on a food journey, as you already know, but I am trying to cut out more and more meat. So I need you to teach me the ways in the kitchen of.
Oh, my vegetarian
I do. I need you.
beans, though. We're gonna have to work on this. We'll come up with a solution. Okay.
Nice. Maybe that'll be another podcast once I have joined the train.
Okay. Talk to you
Okay.
later. Have a good day.
Thanks, Heather.
Thank you for joining in for another episode of Two Babies in a Business. CIPR Communications is a public relations and digital marketing firm partnering with clients across North America to reach their brand reputation and lead generation goals. Follow us on social at CIPR.coms and check out our website CIPRcommunications.com for more information. If you have questions or want to be part of a future podcast, reach out at media@CIPRcommunications.com. I'm James Falls, CIPR's PR specialist, and I'm looking forward to our next episode. Subscribe on your Spotify or iTunes account so you don't miss the next one.